Welcome to the Color Lights World Project. We are the Color Lights World Project, and we have been spreading color and light now since 4 years. And welcome to our Zoominar tonight, Super Immunity with Light and Color, with Akhail Matthews and Rikke Godthjaelp. The Color Lights World Project has been founded 4 years ago, and we have been spreading in midst or at the beginning of the pandemic the beauty, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the healing power of color and light. Our two speakers today, Rikke and Akhail, are founding members of the Color Lights World Project. We have been running since these 4 years about 35 seminars on Zoom and events on Zoom with about 18 speakers and participants from all 5 continents. So today it's a big pleasure for me to present Akhail Matthews. He is a therapist and a color light researcher for over 30 years. He is the founder of Samasati Color Light Therapy and the author of 2 books. He is a mystic, a friend, a guide, and a meditator. He has been a counselor for over 45 years and a color therapist for 30 years. Some part of Akhail is from the USA and some part is not. And then we welcome Rikke Godthjaelp from Denmark. She has been a therapist for over 20 years. She's teaching auriculotherapy, ear acupuncture, chromotherapy, and posturology. She has created a curriculum 2014 for educating auriculotherapy, and this has been the first approved education like that in Denmark. She is the founder of Godthjaelp Institute and is a teacher and a researcher in Copenhagen. You will see shortly the websites of both speakers in the chat. And now we can start and we make speaker view. And I'm saying hello to Akhail Matthews first.
Thank you, Gabriela. A joy to be here with you all tonight. I'm going to be speaking with you for about 20 minutes, kind of giving a little bit of an overview of what I hold most precious in the world of light. And then Rikke and I are going to have a little chat about some things. And then then it'll be her turn to speak for the same kind of format. And if there are any questions from anybody here, please feel free to put them into the chat. And if we get to that point where there is time for that, we would be delighted to give those a go also. I'd like to tell a story just to get started here and to give you a sense of how color works for me. And the story is I was invited to work with a woman who was a dancer and quite a physical, body-oriented, soulful kind of woman. And she also happened to ride motorcycles. And as often happens with people who ride motorcycles in Europe, she found herself wrapped around a tree while going 35 or 40. And I was called to help her after she'd been in the hospital for 3 months and had maybe 7 or 8 major surgeries and been kept immobile for a long time and not allowed to move. And she was literally fed up and going nuts. She was out of the hospital, but still could barely move and really missed having her alive body again. And also was in quite a lot of pain and taking all kinds of pain medications. So when I came to her house, I opened the door and I saw a woman sitting there who said, he smiled and said, "Welcome, Akhail." But at the same time, I saw her energy body say, "Oh, no, not another one." And I realized she'd been invaded by about 20 different therapists and doctors, all meaning well and all with a smile on their face, coming into the field of a very wounded woman without any permission or without any patience with it, really. They just assume that it's not there. So I said, "I'm going to wait in the front door until you invite me in." And she looked at me for a minute. I said, "That's right. Even if just you tell me when it's fine to take 2 steps in and then 3 steps." And it went like that, and it went like that, and it went like that. And can you mute Tajana, Gabriela? And slowly she got me there with her. And then I showed her the light. And she said, "What does the light do?" I said, "Well, it teams up with you and kind of restores the natural intelligence fields in your body, which have gotten shocked away and a bit undamaged by all the things that have been going on." And I said, "Here, let's start with the light here first for your heart." And I took out my light, and these days I tend to use this kind of a light. This kind. And I held it about 1 meter from her heart, because that's where I first met her energy field. And it said, "Stop there and wait." So I just stopped there. And when you offer a clear color to a jammed up energy field, the jammed up energy field always starts to unfold to the color light. You don't have to be a great therapist or know a lot. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. And slowly, slowly, as her energy field got more receptive and coherent, she let it come in closer and closer and closer. And then I took out my main healing light and headed down to her hara. That's the lower belly, which is the movement center in the body and the place where you feel most physically coordinated and a dancer's specialty. And I put my light again about 1/2 meter in front of her, and then I said, "Take my hand now and put the light exactly where you want it." And she reached out and took my hand and moved it a few centimeters over to one side and brought it just a little bit closer, but not much. I said, "How's that feel?" She said, "It feels wonderful." I said, "Let's stay there for a few breaths and wait for it a minute." And she did that and waited, and then it came in closer and came in closer. And finally, it was right on her body, which is the most physical healing way to use the light, right on the body. And she started breathing, and all of a sudden, her pelvis started moving. She said, "My pelvis hasn't moved in 3 months now. And then she got this big look, "I'm coming back." And I said, "That's right, you're coming back." And we did a few more treatments to ease the pain where the scars and surgery was. Then I brought it back down to the hara again and said, "Hold it here with me." And she did. "And stand up." And so we both stood up, and she started to move. And one of her legs wanted to kick, and one of them wanted to move. And she said, "My legs haven't moved in 3 months. This is just amazing." And suddenly her pelvis, which is the It's not called sacred bone, sacrum, for nothing. There's a ton of energy and a ton of wisdom and life force in there. Suddenly her sacrum starts moving and pendulating, and we both just broke out laughing. She said, I've got my body back.
And this was all in one session?
This was all in less than 25 minutes.
Amazing.
For me, the magic of it is this. I see a person as an intelligence field. So the person is actually much bigger than the physical body. I have done light healing with somebody from 2 meters behind them, coming into the light field. I work with a light, the energy field of a person. And when that field gives you permission, it's like the intelligence then opens. If you just come in and do something, you can organize energy, and you can make a lot of beautiful interventions, but it doesn't necessarily appeal to the natural intelligence in a person.
So when a person calls you or visits you, isn't that also like a question or like a permission to enter that space in itself?
Sort of. I think everybody knows what it's like to have an ego. Your ego says, I want help, I need help, I'm in pain, help me. But that's not necessarily what the wounded part of your body or energy would say.
Mm.
Your energy the wounded part might say, I need time to heal, or will somebody please meet me or listen to me, or can I be included here? I'm the one who's hurting. So people's ego is usually about 3 steps in front of their real self.
So you want to be invited in by the wounded part of the spirit,
Right. You want to be invited in by the when the body gets hurt, it puts up a protection field. Yeah. And if there's a recent injury, that protection field will be bright red or strong red. If it's an old chronic one, it'll be dull red or even red-brown. And if it's a held in place by old emotions, that energy field will be purple even. So a lady came to me with a back pain. She's tried everything, acupuncture and chiropractic and massage. And I said, what color is the pain here in your back? And she said, purple. So I said, there's emotional reasons for holding on to it. And I took out my yellow light. Yellow balances purple. Again, about 1 meter away from the body, and said, let me know when it can come in closer. And I did. The purple went away. I said, what happens when the purple goes away? And she said, oh, it starts to get a bit more pink. And as soon as you hear the word pink, kind of the color like Rikke is wearing, you know you're in good shape. That means the body's healing itself. So that's my style. And if there isn't that much permission yet, which I don't always expect, it just depends on. I like to use a blue light. This is just a regular little light kit kind of thing. And I hold the blue light just here, about this far away, and say, tell me when your mind opens enough and lets this blue light in. And the blue light is the color for being at home, at peace, with a wide open, relaxed mind. And slowly I bring the blue light in, bring the blue light in, bring the blue light in. And then the mind is with you. After that, I do the same thing with the green, with the heart. Start with green, off the body, in. And the heart's in now. The heart's relaxed at home and in. And I worked with one of the top 10 body workers in America for a while, and his name was Tom. And the first session we traded sessions. He was a master. I was just totally impressed. But the first session I gave him, I used blue light on his third eye. And his girlfriend came up to me afterwards and said, "What did you do to Tom? I've never seen him this relaxed my whole life." Blue light, third eye, it's a wonder. It's also great for peaceful sleep and quite a few things.
Quite agree.
Green light, in terms of the immune system, I've been using a lot of green light. Let's say it this way. Also, blue light purifies mental toxins. If someone is holding a lot of anger, holding a lot of fear, holding a lot of mental stuff, blue light. If someone has a toxic body, if you get sick, it's usually there's a toxicity involved. If there's a toxic body, I use green. And green detoxifies everything. And you can use it to detoxify the pain of the heart. You can also use it to detoxify cells. You can use it to heavy metal poisoning, you name it. If you get permission, the body is hugely intelligent. It knows what to do. You just need the green to kind of nudge it in the right direction. It's not like the green light does the magic. The body does the magic. But the green light nudges it in the right direction. In my early days of working with color, I was in India, and a friend borrowed my bicycle and forgot to tell me the brakes weren't working when he gave it back to me. I ended up splattered all over an Indian road. If you've ever been to India, you know what's on the road, besides cow dung and diesel and pond spit and God knows. So I came out of the hospital with big bandages and 2 big packs of antibiotics. And they said, tropical country, you're going to get infections to the kazoo out of all this stuff. I took a blue light, just a little 20-watt Indian light bulb, painted it blue, put it in a little lamp, and put it by my wounds for a half an hour, 2 or 3 times a day. No pain, no infection, no scar, no pills. Now, you could say the blue light does those miracles, but it wasn't, My body is the one doing that. My body is the one who's healing in the right direction if you give it the right little encouragement, the right signal.
Could you say that it's like a language, and you're telling it with a language, like color would be a language, and giving it information like that?
Brilliant. Color is the natural language of your intelligence system. And all of the cells are basically in radio contact with the energy field of your aura. Cells and DNA broadcasts and receives information. And it's the aura field that tells you who you are and what's going on. So that aura field is stored in color light information. And I have, I've been a therapist for a long time, and if you want to find someone's past life toxicity, you can find it maybe 2 meters off the body on the right up and to the left. You can find it, and you say, what color is it? And you bring your light there, and all of the pain goes out of it. All of the fear, mistrust, pain, hurt goes away from the wounded part, when it gets the right support. Think of it this way, we're finding stronger and stronger ways to push the body to make it well. Here, this will get you well. This will get you well. I got a stronger equipment. The body really wants to get well.
Do you sometimes have the problem that the body don't understand a specific color for some reason, that there is a blockage or something like a lock on the information passing from you or the light that's being worked with?
I always expect that, Rikke. If there wasn't a block, it would have happened already.
True.
Yeah, I always expect it. For me is I do two things. One is I sense myself. Do I physically feel a bump, a stop in the aura field? For me, I've done so many, it's just easy. You just feel, oh, boom,
Mm.
And then I just want to be at the edge of that bump. I don't want to push on the bump. I just say, I respect you, and I'm going to wait you out with some light on. And the bump always goes, okay, you can come. The other thing I do is ask questions. How is this for you now? Are you happy with this? Is it feeling okay?
Mm.
And I might say something like, it seems like we're meeting here a little resistance point, which is part of the story. How is that for you?
Yeah.
I like to keep people actively engaged in it, and not me heroically doing something to somebody who's blindfolded and drugged out, just, oh, here's a bump. So when I do myself, like I know it doesn't look this way all the time, but I'm a shy guy, and I've worked all over the world having to present and sell myself to strangers and this and that. Most of the time, I want some green light on my heart to say, it's okay, you can relax, and some yellow light on my solar plexus to say, come on, you can do it. You've got what it takes. Come on, guy. But I listen. Okay, here's a bump. Who is that? I say, who is that I meet? No, 6 years old. Okay, come on, guy. And then 14, and I just work it in. And then I can be really relaxed and really open and energetic at the same time. It's not like I've made myself that way. It's come from the inside.
So when you sense, you say that every time there is a problem, there is kind of this blockage. So
Always.
you expect the blockage. And
Right.
so your way of opening that blockage is the communication between you and the person, and with the light in that, so the light is always the opener of the blockage.
I've worked a lot around enlightened people. It's been a quest of mine to be in that energy field. And one thing that's clear is that when the energy field is right, all of the compasses point north. And I come in and say, okay, the color light is going to set up a good, loving, healthy energy field. And then the body's compass starts pointing north. The body really and a person really want to get well. You don't have to push, you just have to provide a channel for that to happen.
So a channel would be like a loving environment or an accepting environment, or
all of those things. And all of those things. But light is naturally loving. It's the fundamental sanity of the universe taking shape. You know, not to be too theological here. In the beginning, there's God, which is this huge open field. And then out of that open field comes light. That's the freshest, clearest, strongest, most sane energy we got.
Hmm.
And I like to use a little color light and through a crystal or something in that direction. And bang, you're standing in the line of the clearest energy that God makes the world from. And when the person gives you permission to use it, magic.
Do you
Okay.
experience people saying no, no, thank you. I don't feel like getting this light. I don't want that color.
I listened to it.
Hmm?
Thank you, Gabrielle. I got it. There was a lady in New York who said, "I'm very traumatized." Surprise. If you live in New York City, what do you expect, you know? But so I did this. I don't give up easy, as you may guess. So I took my light and shined it up on the ceiling. I said, "How is that?" I didn't push it at her. I shined it straight up in the ceiling. I just said, "There's a light on in this room. How is that for you?" Or I say, "What color would you prefer?" Or I say, "Here, you take my hand and put it just where you want it." Give people a choice, give people options, and they go for it. Now, you can say, what if they say none of that? Well, they wouldn't be working with me if they weren't open to some of it. Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Well,
I like to be creative and respectful with people.
Excuse me, Akhail, I think we do have our first question in the chat. Can you see it?
I did.
Yeah.
But I think it's time for Rikke now, and we'll get back to that question
Okay.
after. I want to, it's over to Rikke here.
And then we will pick up on the questions at the end and kind of make a collective answering.
Yeah.
So thank you for the word, Akhail, and thank you for sharing and answering my questions. That's I love your way of this very soft and loving way of approaching a person. It's I like that. It's very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that and
Thank you.
and giving that to us. So I have already been introduced. I work with colors, and my way of working with colors is mainly through the understanding of Paul Nochet, who does or did auriculotherapy, is the founder of auriculotherapy. And it's called auriculo, and we work mainly from the ear, but we work all over the body. And we work with specific colors and specific nuances within the different colors. And the colors that we work with have been found to be effective by using the pulse or the VAS pulse, where we use the way the heart speaks, or the heart changes when we approach a color, whether it's reception, which means that we have light behind it, or emission, which means that we put it directly on the body, and it's the color from the light from the body that understands the color in that way. So emission when it comes from inside, and reception when the light comes from outside. This is the short version. And so the way we work with the colors is an understanding from the VAS pulse. And when you were speaking about touching and feeling this boom, this is what we also feel. We use the same kind of technique. We call it electromagnetic field. You can call it anything, but it's the field around us. And we also go in and, and touch this this energy field. And we would use different filters and different colors. And tonight, well, Akhail and myself, we had a talk a while ago, and we talked about what we would like to share with you today. And I would like to follow examples of Akhail and give examples that are similar in the sense of how would I use some of the same colors or the same approaches in a way, in a auricular way, or auricular medicine, as we also call it when we use the colors. And first, I think it's so wonderful when you talk about the blue or the indigo. For us, it's indigo blue. For us, the color that we use it's called F98 when it's a Kodak filter, and we use this also on the third eye or the pineal gland, where the cells around this area receives and understand the shade of the light. If it's morning, noon, or night, the melatonin will react from the color on the pineal gland, or the pineal gland will react from the information of color of the cells coming from this area. And we use very much this blue color to calm the nerves and to calm the mind, to cool the mind. And this is actually the color that we used in our study. And we did a study, a PTSD study. Actually, Jeanette right here participated in that study. And we worked with people from centers, mainly veterans and women's abuse centers where women were living. And also we were connected to a PTSD, I don't know what you call it, kind group, union, I don't know what you call it in English, a place where people
Association.
Association, thank you, Janet. And we used this color. We tried out, the pilot study was three different colors, and the one we found to be most useful was this. And we would do a little like you also talk about, Kai. We would ask people to think about the issue that would be blocking them, and we would put light on different areas on the ear according to the pulse. And we had some amazing experiences. All of the people who were participating in making the study had really amazing experiences in the sense of relieving traumas that was devastating. And these people that we treated, I mean, now in my everyday, I use it in my clinic for small traumas, big traumas. But we had to do with people who were like living in fear of their life, or had been going to war and were not able to live a normal life. So it was kind of, I don't know, it was so it gave such a big impression to see these women and men being able to function in a different way afterwards. And one of the women that I worked with, I know it's a bit, I was thinking earlier if I should share this, but I feel like it gives a big, for me it was very impressionable, so I will share it, some of it. She was not able to go to the grocery shop. She was not able to wash salads, and specifically cucumbers, which she had been violated by her husband. with that. So she couldn't eat a salad. She couldn't go to a grocery store and go through the area of vegetables and fruits. And it was it's very difficult to eat food and you buy takeaway food or something, and there is always it's like a re-traumatization constantly, because there will be cucumbers on all food you buy in some fashion. It's like a tomato, it's everywhere. So we worked with this, and we worked for 10, maybe maximum 15 minutes, and that was it. And I talked with her 1 month later, 4 or 5 weeks later. I called her to ask her how she was doing, and she said, I shop, I make salad, I eat salad, I can wash a cucumber, I can buy them, I have no problem. And to hear a story like that from 15 minutes of therapy, for me, is just amazing. And this is what color can do. And we did nothing else. When I tell you nothing else, like the only thing was to put light on the ear with this color. It's amazing. So for me, color is we can move mountains with this. We can move energy blockages that we can't imagine. So I want to talk about one more blue color, because I know that there are people in here that knows a lot about the Noche filters. So I wanted just to throw one more filter, because this is how I work. And it's called ATB. And I know that this is a filter that's not very used, and it's a cyan blue. And I don't know if I can maybe show this color. I don't know if you can see it better if I put some white light behind it.
Mhm.
And the other blue is very much darker. I think it's difficult to see it, but you can maybe get a feeling of that. So the cyan blue is more delicate, and it works with pain. It's very good at relieving pain locally and balancing an area. But when I use this filter, the cyan blue, and we're going to work with this, there is a course in this weekend that we're going to work with it. It's a delicate filter that needs to be worked with, and it's like you can almost see it. You can almost see that the delicate color. It's more, I don't know, it has like this, it's not so dense. So it needs to be supported in its treatment. And I use it personally mostly for pain that is very recent, and to relieve a pain that's occurring here and now. And I wanted to take this color just to show one more thing. And that is, when you work with colors within the Noche frequencies, or the way we use it, for us, or the way we use it, is a lot about nuances. Very few nuances can make a big difference in the way we use the color. And so we rarely use the word blue by itself. We would call it blue and then a number, or blue and then a name of the color, because the variation of the nuances of the blue will make a difference in the way we use the color. And yeah, I don't know, do you use, I'm just curious, because we didn't talk about different nuances when we had our talk, and we didn't talk about it today, because you say blue and you say green and yellow. How is it with you, Akhail? Do you have different nuances of yellow or different nuances of green when you work?
Yes. You know, when I first got my color equipment, I built a little attachment to it so I could have 2 parts yellow, 1 part green. Or I have lamps here where I can put the different colors together and make mixed colors. I also firmly believe that nuances are a lot better. This is just kind of the old German stick to the middle approach. But
Yeah,
if you're a traveling guy, how much
yeah,
can you carry around like that, you know?
yeah. I use this one.
Uh-huh.
So, but it's just it's another light device. And we
Yeah.
can put the filters. We put the filters in here, and then we can put the different nuances.
Yeah, beautiful.
It doesn't have color in itself. It has the color that we put onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so those were kind of the two blues I wanted to talk about. And I actually also want to talk about one thing more about specifically the F98 that I talked about in the beginning, which is one of the colors that I use mostly. I would say that I use this every time I treat. I will check this color because it relates to the limbic area of the brain, which is where we distribute and regulate. It regulates, or it doesn't. You could say distribute because it tells the body where the hormone should go and what hormone should be activated and not activated. And for me, working on the limbic system will be some of the most important in the body, as I understand it, because it regulates, or it has a big influence on our emotions in all kinds of way, like the emotions of, am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I horny? Do I need to go to pee? But also, do I feel sad? Do I feel angry? Do I feel violated? Do I feel somebody stepping over my limits? And in our hormones, we react, and the hormones are also engaging in its making these emotions come to our system. So working with a color that goes so much into the limbic system as this blue nuance, which is called indigo, is for me, it's, you talk about psyche and soma, and this is kind of, for me, it connects the mind and the body. We go through the limbic system when we want to have an information from the skin to the brain, it goes through the limbic system, it filters and it distributes and it transforms and it informs. So the blue color is a vital color in my treatments and in my way of approaching the body.
Can I ask you a question here? A couple of questions, Rikke. Yeah.
Sure.
In the system where I was trained, we worked with complements. If we give a lot of cooling blue to the brain area or certain systems, then somewhere along the line we would also be likely to give some warm orange, kind of to support a physical body, or to support people not getting totally feeling kind of overwhelmed or lost because they've lost their sharp mind. Do you ever work with color complements in that way?
Well, yes and no. Not directly complementary colors. It's not something that we work on with the no-shade colors like that. But we will usually work with or go through, there are 7 different colors or 7 different nuances of colors in the basic understanding of how the body starts from one cell and what do you call it? Well, when we are born from 2 single cells that merges and then doubles and doubles and doubles. And from this, from the vibrations and the frequencies of this are the different colors, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And these colors are all different. And very often when you work with a person, you will go through different of these colors, and you will very often work with, but it's not an orange. It's more like it has this let me put a white piece of white paper behind it. It has this red, deep orange, which is when we work with the F98, the indigo color, we call it subcortex because it's under the cortex, whereas this color is more the cortex. So to balance that, we will often work with that one as well. But no, we don't go directly and say complementary colors.
If you were to use that blue and the deep red orange that you showed us, would you put them both on different spots or on the same spot?
Yeah, that's a good question. When we work with colors in auriculo, we put the colors where the body asks for it. So we ask the body via the pulse. So we will go with a with a dim light with the color crossing over the ear, for example, and then where we feel there is a change in the pulse, we will turn up the light on that specific area. So for me, what is very special about auriculotherapy is specifically this, that we constantly ask the body, do you want this or don't you want it? If you don't want it, we won't give it to you. So the big job for the therapist is to ask the right questions to get answers.
And one more question for you, okay?
Yeah.
Here it is, we're heading into a cold, tough winter where there's a lot of challenges, physical immune system, psychological immune system, spiritual immune system, you name it, it's a zoo these days. How do you work with that challenge of the immune stress right now, and also perhaps even the hyper locked in autoimmune conditions that are quite going around these days as well?
So I was actually thinking about not about the autoimmune disease that you asked the question. I will take the first question first. And I was actually thinking about this right before we started, because I like to, just before we start, I like to zoom in. And one of my thoughts was, wow, there are really, really, really many entrants to working on the immune system. It really depends on the person's needs and also the therapist's understanding. There are so many ways, because when I'm working with immune system, there will be, like, I have been talking about relaxing the mind here, and I haven't said anything about immunity at all. I haven't used the word, and neither actually have you. But we all know, or maybe we don't, but this is probably me assuming, the more relaxed and centered we are, the more we are in harmony in our head. We call it laterality. The more there is relaxed mind, this has a huge impact on your immunity. This has a huge effect on, will I be sick or not? Do I overspend my my resources? Do I burn myself out? Do I let myself get the rest that I need? Do I put things into my mind that are unhealthy? Do I watch sorry, I don't know how you do it, but I cannot watch the news. It's too much for me. It's like it's polluting my mind, and I need to listen to it from time to time, because I also have the feeling that I have to stay informed about the world. But I can only take small dosages before it gets too overwhelming for me. I must accept that I'm here for other reasons. Other people need to take care of politics. That is not my métier. And it overfills my head with information, and it puts me in in a position that's not healthy for me.
That sounds very sane, Rikke. That sounds
Thank
very,
you.
very blue and very sane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, I would like to just talk about a few more colors, so that if you like to work with filters, that you come away with a few of the things that I wanted to share today as well. So I actually took the wrong filter, but they look very much alike. This is one of the examples. This is a green, it's a green 53, and it actually the green 54 that I wanted to talk about. So now I want to talk about, so I'm going to talk about both. But the green 54, which is the one I don't have here, it's very good on working on different kind of bacterias and inflammations. And you can use this color directly on the area where you want to work. So when, as an auriculotherapist, you can work on the ear where the color is, where the body says, yes, thank you. And this is not necessarily, let's say that this is about inflammation in the guts. This is something that many people have, because we are, it can be because we are emotionally challenged, or because the food we eat is challenged, or is challenging our body, maybe we should say it like that. So you can use it directly. You could take a color like this and put it directly over the stomach or the guts. And I would, when I work with this, I would take the vase and I would take my device, and I would spread the light over the stomach, taking the pulse, and then feeling where is it, and I would say, okay, it's here, and I would stay here until the pulse changes. So like that, I can work my way around on the physical, on the body directly. Or I could do the same on the ear. And when I do it on the ear, I would put a little device on so I can be very precise. But this is how I work with the colors. So the color green 54, and it's actually a shame I don't have them next to each other because they're very similar, will be very good for the inflammation, where the green 53 is very good for the balancing. And I think that I actually wanted to talk about the green 54 because we were talking about superimmunity. But back to the blue, it's about the balance in the brain, and it's also about the balance in the body. And we use the 54 to balance the body very often before we start the treatment. This is a special technique that you can use this green color to balance the body on specific areas or around on the ear, like an opening. And I know that this is also a heart color, or the green is the heart color. So for me, it makes sense that it's a balancing color and that it's also an opening color. So, and I can see my time is flying, so I will just finish with the last color. This is actually a color that, if you know the Noche colors, I'm sure you know the C3, which is a very bright yellow. And this is the color. I don't know if you can see this color. This is the color that we use for muscles, and more specifically the smooth muscle. Also the muscle, skeleton muscle, but not as much, in the sense of that it's more the D color that is about the locomotion, the movement. So this yellow, no, it's not. It looks like white, I think, on the screen. But this color is working with the smooth muscles. And which are the smooth muscles? Those are the ones we have around in our intestines. And this was actually what I wanted to talk about, is the digestion. So how our digestion is working has a lot to do with how our immune system is working. So when I work with an immune system that is challenged, I will always work with the lungs and the and the gut health, because our breath and our smooth muscles in our lungs are very much connected to our gut and the smooth muscles in our gut. And the way they work together, the way we breathe, and the way that the muscles are moving on the guts has a big influence on how we digest. And for me, the digestion tract and the bacteria formed by this, I know that it's not just formed by the way it moves. Of course, it's formed by what we eat, but it's also formed by our breath and how our guts move, because the way they move is also how the food is being digested, and therefore these vibrations has to do with our immune system and our way of taking in the energy we get from the food that we get from our physical food. So for me, this is also immune system or super immune system. So today I wanted to approach the mind and the very physical body, and then kind of what is in between that. And that's why I chose to actually also follow your colors. I don't know if that was your idea, Akhail, but that's what I saw when we had our talk the other day.
I'm impressed. I need to keep it simple these days, and we're exactly in the same track. For me, the three most important super immune colors are the blue, green, and yellow. And I didn't talk about the yellow, but for me, the yellow is like the sunshine color, and it gets everything spinning. It's your detox and clear out color. Blue is your open the mind and turn on the relaxation powers of your hormones and your all your big systems. And the green is your master for inflammation, master for balance. And also, you might try it sometime after watching the news for 5 minutes. Try a little bit of blue on your mind and a little bit of green on your heart, just to recover from this crap. And yellow is really it's the color you need to push stuff out. So if you get a cold or a flu, yellow will kind of push out the toxic stuff. It'll get the lymph flowing. It'll spin things out.
I think that's funny that you say push things out, because our do you say peristaltic? The way the muscles work in the smooth muscles is also pushing out. So when you say it's pushing out, it's energetic and completely physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's let's clear this stuff out of here.
Yeah.
Which is often what makes a body sick, is it's full of stuff that it needs to clear out, and getting sick is one way it clears itself. So,
and I think, and I always love when this happens, when you see that we are working from different parts of the world, from different aspects, with different systems, with different approaches, and it still goes the same way, isn't it? I think it's wonderful when there is the frequency, the balance, the coherence is like that. I love that. Can I answer a question that's here? Would that be okay, Akhail? Because I think it's a wonderful question, Nathan, he asked.
just one more thing here. I just want to say,
Sure.
I just want to say one thing, and then it's back to you, Rikke. And that is, we are very appreciating that we're working from very different styles, me and Rikke, and we're hoping that in presenting these very different styles, it gives everybody plenty of room to find your own style. So there isn't it's like, come on in, guys. The water's warm, and see how you want to swim. Like that.
Yeah.
Back to Rikke.
But I just wanted to say, when you say that, I need to say that this is very, very much my approach, is that different therapists bring the colors in different ways as well. Like we were talking about the intention. well, I'm an acupuncturist, so I heard this first time, intention of the needle, but it could also be intention of the color. So the therapist is very much a part of the therapy. And so when you work with colors or with healing other people, with helping people on the way in life, I think that it's very, very important that you put yourself into that aspect. So you are part of the light, you're part of the needle, you're part of the whatever tool you're using.
So, dear light friends, we do really have quite some questions, and I would like to suggest that we start with the first one. And the
Okay.
first one I'm seeing is, can you treat? Do you see that, Rikke?
Yes. Can you treat people on meditation? And if is it more difficult? And I don't know if meditation should be medication. Yes. So can you treat people on medication? And I think Janet asked this question first to Akhail. Can you treat people on medication?
I think it means meditation. I would love to treat people on meditation. On medication, the answer is yes. And just careful. I do it carefully. By being careful, I always ask permission. How is this? How is that? Drink plenty of water and let people know that light is working on a different channel than most medications work on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so Carl was asking, is it important what kind of light you are using, like an LED, okay, or do I need a good light lamp? I would love to help a girl with acne, and she found a light mask, but we are not sure if it's a good quality. Thank you. So I can talk a long time about light and the quality of light. And when you work with light, for me, it's also very important what color you put in front, because the light source behind can be important. This is why I use this. This is a professional tool, but the filters in front can make a big difference. And for me, working with LED light, I also do that. And you just have to know that it's a different, even if the color is the same, it's different because it's analog instead of having the bigger spectrum. As when you work with a filter, there is a bigger spectrum inside it. And I hear a lot of good from the LED lamps on red light, and it doesn't have to be very complex to work with the red light. This is for the acne. This is to put on top of the head and work with Parkinson and so on. Other very, very, you can take that mask because it's red light and put on top of the head, and it can help calm your head as well, calm your mind, even if it's red.
Sorry, no, there are two different lights.
Yeah.
Sorry, because of my voice, I was sick for more than 2 weeks now.
Oh.
No, she found a kind of masks to put on the face, and one is the red light, and there's another mask with blue and green light. I would suggest a blue-green one because acne is an inflammation. I wouldn't put red on an inflammation.
So I know that I can see that from a color perspective. It depends on if there is also, because normally they also put other things than just the light. They will put infrared and so on. But if you go with just the light, I agree with you. The blue and green would be the most relevant. I can just tell you from experience that the red light can also have a positive influence on acne. So,
Okay.
but I don't see it as a problem that it's an LED light.
Yeah, because she can't afford the masks between 80 euros she can afford and 400 up, the better ones. So
Yeah.
she asked me today if it's worth putting 80 euros because for her it's huge of money. If 80 euros are okay, or if the light doesn't work because there are only LEDs inside.
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
The thing here, Cara, I think we need to move on with our questions, but the thing here is your belief system. If you say, this doesn't feel good to me, It
Don't
won't.
do it. Okay.
If you say I'm feel confident and good, this works, it's got a good shot. Yeah, and you're right. There are some lights that are cleaner than others, and if you can afford a cleaner light, why not? Like same thing with organic food or normal food, you know. Why not? But like that, it's your belief in it and your what you have in your mind when you put the mask on.
Okay. Thank you a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question comes from Nathan.
Do you put cyan filter directly on the area on the where the pain is, or on the ear, or both? The very short answer is both. And I will say that first I like to put, very often I like to put on the ear first, because it's like it's stronger and more direct in a sense. And sometimes I need to go to the body, and it will often take a little longer. But if the body needs to have the light directly on, then I use that approach as well. Specifically with the cyan, yes. Can I just say one more thing about that? I could also, if I have a pain where like, let's say I have a shoulder pain that's very specific, I could also leave the color on that area and then find a point on the ear to treat, either with pressure or electric stimulation or a needle or color. That's also a way to work with the colors.
All right, so thank you. The next one is a remark. It's from Jeanette. I've been treating several of our CPTSD members this last week. They are not soldiers, but ordinary people, and I have amazing results.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I believe you, and I don't see any reason why not. Light restores it's the fundamental sanity of the universe, the fundamental intelligence of the universe, and it brings people back towards the natural state of harmony and intelligence that we're born with.
I would like to add to that light, white light, natural light was part of treating people before we had all this heavy medication. We have the Danish guy, Niels Finsen, who was a doctor and who was awarded a Nobel Prize in 1904 for curing lupus with light. So light was a natural part of a doctor's work, healing medication, and so it was stopped as a therapy method when we had big pharma and there was more money to make with medicine. So I'm just really pleased, and I don't know if I'm blinded by my own happiness about the colors, but I have this feeling that we are seeing more and more color treatments coming, like you asking for the mask. This is something that you can just buy on Amazon, so everybody has the possibility to work with light in their everyday life now. And I see that people are doing that, and I see more and more studies being done with cancer patients, Alzheimer's, Parkinson, and so on, and they're having good success.
In America, we call it PTDS, which stands for Post-Trump Democrat Stress.
Yeah, that's politics.
Okay, I think we're about done, huh?
Yeah.
No, I think Nathan has something more for you.
And the smooth muscles in our eyes and how our eyes digest light and color. And what can you just elaborate a bit on that, Nathan?
Hey, yeah, I was just typed that in when you were talking about the involuntary muscles and the digestion gut connection.
With the eyes as well, the smooth muscle around the eyes, and the way we digest light and color, and the way we digest probably also everything we see during the day. In meditation, we talk about samskara, that when we meditate, that we let go of our daily impressions, so they will not cloud our center. So in the same way, we can declutter our eyes and our impressions. I like that. That's beautiful.
By the way, Nathan here is a member of the Color Light World Project team, and he's an expert on light through the eyes and working with vision improvement, and he's going to be presenting that in one of our future seminars. And we can only give a taste, but he can give you a really good drink of it.
Yeah, that'll be in January, 2 months. And Christiane will be there too.
Yeah. And I just want to say, you brought up autoimmunity. Any more thoughts on that topic? So just very short, because for me that's opening a big jar. But I would say that autoimmunity, you say that there is something that you're reacting to inside yourself, like you're reacting to yourself. And so for me, it's a double when I work with autoimmunity. In my understanding of working with autoimmunity, you cannot work with autoimmunity diseases without working with the spirit, or the mind, the psyche, and combined with working with if there is something where you're reacting negatively towards yourself physically, combined with reacting towards yourself negatively in your mind. I don't know, did that make sense? I
Yes.
hope it did.
Yeah. For me, I would say, Nathan, green, 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 and some yellow. I see autoimmunity different than the normal doctors. Your immune system is really trying to do a job, and the doctors say, here, take this, it'll cool off your immune system and you'll feel better. I say, let's support the immune system to do what it's really trying to do. Green detoxifies and also neutralizes the viruses and bacteria, which are usually behind the irritations, even in the joints and stuff. And I gave my father a 3-minute light treatment on his arthritis. Green, green, green. The next day I got a call from his secretary. What did you do to our father? He's walking up and down the hall in the office saying, the damn stuff works. The damn stuff works. So, green.
Yeah.
Green, green, green.
So we have one more question from Christiane.
Thank you, Nathan.
Question to you both, to both of you. Do you also see the aura anyway think you feel it? So Akhail, what would you say to that? I think you very much see aura.
I feel it. I don't try to see it so much. I come, I just kind of sense it, really. For me, it's like that. Everybody has their gifts, and I encourage you and everyone else to use your own sense. Some people can see, some people can hear, some people can feel, some people can. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and the more you trust yourself, the better you get.
So I usually don't talk about the aura. We talk about the EMF, but I think it's potato. And so we feel it. So we will work with the pulse and feel it mostly. And yeah, I would say from an auricular therapist approach, I would say you'll work with the pulse, and via the pulse we feel it. So we would feel the pulse and we would approach and see where we hit that bump that you're talking about. And yeah,
That's the scientific approach and the spiritual approach.
Yes, exactly. And as an auricular therapist, it's this is a system coming from doctors. But I think that once you've been working with this system for a while, and when you are getting, when you work with people, and that you work with yourself, which I think is a big job of working with people, is working with yourself, then you start feeling these things. They become natural, implanted in your way of working. So thank you for that question, Christiane.
Thank you, Christiane.
Yeah.
Dear friends, Rikke and Akhail, this has been fascinating. Also for me, I was listening strongly all the time, although I'm the organizer and it's not easy. So highly fascinating. Thank you for that. And thank you for taking the time also to prepare your talk and your working together. So I feel that very fruitful, and I'm very happy about our new format of having talks with each others, because we in the group of Color Lights World experts, we have such a broad knowledge and wisdom. So this is awesome. So thanks a lot. So you will receive, of course, the recording of today by beginning of the next week. And so please stay tuned. We will continue in January with the next Zoominar. And if you want to have more details on Rikke and Akhail, you will find their links, of course, in the email you will get. And also you find their website on my website. And thanks to all who have been present today, and there's so much to explore and to learn. And thanks from my heart to Rikke and Akhail. This has been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been a real joy. Thank you very much, everybody. A real joy.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you for listening and for participating and for all the questions. It was really great.